Hello there, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we want to look at the question paper of September 2024, and we are going to start to look at the instructions and information according to the question paper. So in terms of the first instruction, it says that this question paper consists of three sections, namely section A, section B, and section C. So the questions in section A and section B are compulsory, so meaning you have to answer all the questions that we have in section A in section B. So going on towards our instruction 3, answer any two questions in section C. So in section C, you have to choose two questions from the questions that you are given in section C. And obviously, you have to read all the questions carefully. So in terms of the first question that we have, which is our section A, which is compulsory, is indicated. So we are going to start on 1.1.1, which reads in a job contract, a probation period could refer to a cycle where, remember, a probation period is a period when the worker is starting to work in that workplace. So obviously, that's when the worker is going to adjust to the conditions of that working place. So it's going to be a short period that the worker is given to acclimatize with the working environment. So basically, that's what we have. So in terms of the responses that we have, the correct response is B. It says employers reserve the right to adjust the role of workers. So we have B as the correct response. So moving on to the next part, which is our 1.1.2. So 1.1.2 reads a healthy and related intervention program refers to. So we have got a different response that we have, and we'll see that the correct response that we have is D, which is saying set of activities targeting health risk factors. So we have a D as the correct response. So moving on to the next question, which is our question 3. So on question 3, it reads, public participation in a democracy is the process where, so we have different responses given, but of course, according to our responses that we have, if you go to B, citizens provide feedback on decision making to influence government policies. So of course, whenever there's a democracy, we are having the citizens are given the privilege to bring their feedback so that they can be taken into account. So basically, that's what we have in terms of number 3, which we have as B as the correct response. Then going to 1.1.4 is saying writing a reflection on a project should mainly focus on. We have also A2 and D as our responses, but if you check according to the responses given, you see that the correct response that we have C, how the task enhanced your knowledge of the topic. So we have C as the correct response. So moving on to question 5, when a question instructs you to illustrate your answer with a case study, you are then expected to, of course, A is saying refer to specific examples supporting your points, and then we have also our B, which is provide a detailed analysis of theoretical concept, and then we've got C, make judgments based on your personal opinion. If you go to D, summarize your findings are based on your responses. So the correct response is A, which is refer to specific examples supporting your point. So we have A as the correct response. So moving on to the next part of our section A, we are going to move on to our 1.2, which reads give one term, which is one term or one word for each of the following descriptions. So the first one is saying the purposeful spreading of misleading information to advance a certain political cause or philosophy. So if you check in terms of the most appropriate term that you can give to that, it's propaganda. So we have propaganda as our answer on 1.2.1. So 1.2.1, we are saying propaganda. Then moving on to the next part of our question, which is 1.2.2, a formal organization of workers that participates in collective bargaining on behalf of its members in the workplace. This is a trade union. So we have a trade union as our correct response. So moving on to the next part, it reads, a form of favoritism whereby close friends or associates are given positions of power regardless of their qualifications. So this is a cronyism, which is indicated in the answer section as the correct response. So we have that. We'll move on to the next part of our question, whereby we're saying, answer the following questions by writing the answer next to the question numbers. So we have 1.3.1, which reads state two possible financial challenges for an upcoming social entrepreneur. So what are the challenges that we can associate with an upcoming social entrepreneur? So we're going to say that a lack of funds obviously can be one of the challenges, and also limited access to government programs. So you see that since we are talking about an upcoming social entrepreneur, there might be limited access to government programs, which might be a negative effect. And also, you can talk about economic fluctuations depending on the position of the economy. It might be also a disadvantage that can work against the motives of a social entrepreneur. So we have that also mentioned in the other section, whereby we are saying lack of funds being the first one is indicated. And then also we have got the hesitance or reluctance of investors to fund the new business, reliance on grants or donations or investment to fund their ventures. So these are some of the points that we have. And of course, we have got further points that are indicated that are also correct. So if you go down, see that we've got a list of points that are needed. But according to the question only requires two. Uh, So on 1.3.2, it reads explain the term redress in the workplace. So you see that redress is associated with the restoration of the position or status of an employee. So that's the general description that we can give in terms of redress. But we have also the descriptions of redress in another section whereby we say it refers to the process of correcting or addressing a grievance or wrongdoing that an employee may have experienced. Also, it involves taking steps to rectify a situation or ensure justice, to provide relief or compensation to the affected or designated or marginalized groups. It can also mean to restore the position or status of an employee owing to the fair treatment. So these are some of the points that you can include according to the explanation or redress. So we have got further explanations that are also given is indicated, but also correct, that you can also input. We're going to 1.3.3. Now you see that 1.3.3 means discuss the benefit of taking a gap year when deciding on a final career choice. So these are possible responses that you can include, which includes taking time to navigate real world challenges independently, may enhance maturity or confidence, and leading to a more carefully considered or chosen career. We can talk about also self-discovery during a gap year is crucial for a fulfilling career. We can talk about practical experience or volunteering during a gap year. So basically, these are some of the points that you can include according to our question, which reads, discuss the benefit of taking a gap year when deciding on a final career choice. So of course, we have a continuation on that. I would also correct points that we can also include according to our question. So you'd see that these are other points that are also correct that we can also include. So moving on to the next part, which is 1.4.1, which reads describe one social benefit of including recreational activities in a personal lifestyle plan. So what is the social benefit of including recreational activities? So which that possible responses could include providing individuals with a platform to connect with like-minded individuals, or fostering new friendships or expanding social networks. So also the second point is spending quality time with friends or family, which may strengthen a relationship. So we have got also a continuation of possible answers that you can also include. Of course, the question only requires 2 points. So this is what we have on that part. So moving on to the next question, which says explain how how following a consistent exercise routine could contribute to your mental well-being. So, following a consistent exercise routine could help regulate sleep patterns and lead to better sleep quality, and thus allowing the brain to improve mood or cognitive function. So, we have further points that are also correct, whereby you have enhanced self-esteem or body image, thereby helping to boost self-confidence or sense of accomplishment, increase blood flow to the brain, or improve focus, which may enhance better quality or develop healthy coping mechanisms. So we have got further points that we can also include that are also correct. So this is what we have. And then moving on to the next part, so we have got 1.4.3. On 1.4.3, it includes and discuss one possible advantage of following a balanced nutrition plan on a person's long-term physical health. So, of course, a balanced nutrition plan, we can talk about our main benefits or advantages that we can deduce from that, including providing a recommended total calories or nutrients and maintaining a healthy weight, body mass index, that is the BMI, or reducing the risk of obesity, and also gaining excessive weight. So basically, uh, this is the first point that we can include, and then the second point is saying sustaining a healthy diet of the five good food groups, regulating blood pressure or cholesterol levels, improving heart health. So we have got a continuation of possible answers that we can also include. That with that, that marks the end of our section A with a total of 20 marks. So from there, we move on to this second question that we have according to the question paper, that is our question 2. Moving on to our section B. Remember, our section B is compulsory, and also our section B, you have to answer all the questions that we have in this section. So, in terms of our question 2, it reads, read the extract below and answer the question that follow. So, we're given the extract of the value of work, that is the generation Z, is Gen Z in brackets, in the changing world of work. So, you need to go through the extract that you are given. So beneath the extract, the first question is define the term value of work. So we need to come up with the description of a value of work, of which we are saying it could refer to the importance or weight or significance of an individual's labor or financial work of work that adds meaning to life or return on investment, and also the significance of efforts or contributions in their job or professional career that give purpose or a sense of identity. So basically, these are the descriptions that we have of value for work, and we have got alternative descriptions that we also have that we can also include going down. So moving on to the next question, it reads, describe how Gen Z's experience of technology could enhance their problem solving skills in the workplace. So of course, we have the extract that we have that you need to go through and try to deduce the response of a question at 2.2. So you would see that the experience of technology of Gen Z would make a Gen Z more comfortable with using technology. So that's how it could enhance their problem-solving skills in the workplace. So basically, those are some of the points that you can raise. So according to the points that we have according to that question, we are saying Gen Z may be more comfortable using technology, thereby making them more skillful in using digital resources and to easily tackle problems. And also, Gen Z may be more exposed to technology, resulting in unconventional or creative or innovative or creative thinking or approaches to solving complex issues. So these are some of the points that you can include. And we have got further points that you can also include that are also correct. So we have got a rundown and also other points. We've got a continuation of correct points that you can include. So in terms of the next question that we have, which is 2.3, it reads, explain how having internet access could improve one's strategy to complete tasks or projects are more effectively. So obviously, having internet access is something that is going to put the business or organization in a positive position. And of course, the internet is going to assist the people within in terms of accessing recent and adequate information. So according to our responses, we are saying Possible responses that we can include there is that the decision making for projects requiring teamwork could be easily facilitated with the use of internet. So we've got a rundown of points that we can have that are also correct according to our question, whereby we are saying the amount of time spent on conducting research may be decreased, and also it could enable one to speed up tasks, and also the decision making for projects requiring teamwork could easily be facilitated. So those are some of the points that we can include. Of course, we have got a continuation of our possible correct responses that we can also include. So we go to 2.4, which reads and discuss two advantages of young workers who maintain a healthy work and life balance. So what are the advantages of young workers who maintain a healthy work-life balance? So we are saying maintaining a healthy work-life balance may lead to them being more focused or more efficient, or also ensure time for hobbies or personal interests. So basically, these are some of the points that we can include that are also correct. So moving on to the next part of our question, we are saying assess the value of regular feedback for employees within work environment. So regular feedback may help employees identify strengths or weaknesses, thereby allowing them to adjust their work, improve overall performance, show employees that their work or contribution is valued or acknowledged, or providing opportunities for growth or development. So these are some of the points that are also correct that you can also include. So I'm going down, and I would see that we have the possible responses that are correct according to the next question that we have, which is 2.6, which reads, recommend two ways in which you could sustain effective relationships in workplace. In each answer, also indicate how this may enable you to be more productive at work. So the possible responses could include get to know or treat colleagues with respect or kindness or empathy, and also share updates or progress regularly with your team or employees. Then the next part, pay attention or always listen attentively to what others are saying without interrupting. So we have got further points that we can also include and that are also correct. And this marks at the end of our question 2. So we're moving on. We are proceeding with our question 3. So moving on to our question 3. So our question 3 reads, read the extract below and answer the question that follows. So I give an extract of study skills, which is dishonesty in examinations on the increase. So you have to go down your extract before you start to attempt to answer the question. So on the first question, it reads, set two actions that you may unintentionally commit in the examination room that may be considered to be dishonest. So of course, we can include issues like borrowing or picking up stationery with other learners. So if you try to pick stationery that is fallen to the ground, is part of dishonesty, and also communicating during examination is also not allowed. So we have those, as we can include those in our other section, as we are saying. Possible responses could include making notes during reading time, talking to other leaders, and non-verbal, that is, or we can include non-verbal gestures or body language, and also borrowing or picking up or swapping stationery with other leaders, asking invigilators for an explanation or advice on examination instructions or questions. So basically, these are some of the points that you can include. So moving on to the second part of it includes why do you think some leaders may feel pressurized to perform well in the NSC examinations. So this is a general question that we have, whereby you can come up with the responses like inadequate revision can be one of the points that you can include. Inadequate revision, or even financial pressure within the household can also be a point that can be also correct. So according to our responses that we have the first point being high expectations from themselves or parents, or it might be from teachers or even from the school, and also inadequate or insufficient revision of material, or we can talk about competition within their grades, or not wanting to lose their spot on the top achievers list. So those are some of the points that you can include. Of course, we have further points, further point that we have here, which is also correct. Then, in terms of the next question, it will explain how dishonesty during the NSC examination could impact on a learner's admission to higher educational institutions. So, the possible reasons, responses are that you can include not receiving their NSC certificate, which is crucial for admission to higher education institutions, and also a learner's disciplinary record or formal reprimands or disciplinary actions being viewed negatively when applying for higher education, or disqualification of the learner from future examinations. So these are some of the points that are also correct. We have got a rundown of further points that are also correct that you can also include. So moving on, you'd say that we have now the next question, which says discuss 2 ways in which you could revise your study strategies to ensure that you are well prepared for the examination. So you could adapt your approach to learning by breaking down your study materials into manageable parts, also assessing your current study techniques, identifying areas that need more focus. So further points do we have that are also correct? Then they move on to 3.5, which is assess 2 ways in which honoring the NSC examination pledge may help you to maintain academic integrity. So you'd see that honoring the NSC examination pledge may compel you to make a personal commitment to uphold these standards or strengthen your resolve to act ethically, even when you are stressed during the examination. Also reinforce your commitment to be true to yourself. So further points we also have that are also correct. So we have a continuation of those correct points that we have here. Then moving on to 3.6, which says analyze how having strong work ethics could enhance your professional skills in the future. The answer also indicate how this could contribute to long-term career success. So we have our response part whereby saying having strong work ethics such as a responsibility or self-discipline may help you to maintain focus on long-term goals, and this consistent performance may foster a stable career path, open up new opportunities, and also collaborating with others, which may foster teamwork. So we also talk about adaptability in a fast-paced work environment. Further points we also have that are also correct. Then we have a continuation of correct points that we have. So this is the last question that we have in terms of our question 3. And of course, we need to move on to the next question, which is our question 4. Moving on to our section C, we are going to start on section 4. Remember, our section C requires you to answer any 2 questions that we have on section C. So all the first question that we have, it reads read the extract below and answer the question that follows. So I given an extract of the role of the media coverage of sports and sports personalities. So you just need to go through the extract given and believe that it is right paragraphs on media coverage of sport. I use the following as a guideline. The first point is briefly state 4 roles of the media on promoting sports in South Africa with a total of 4 marks. And then on the second part, we have to discuss in detail how sports personalities could potentially influence young people to consider a career in sports. Then we move on to the next part where we examine 2 ways in which the media could report more responsibly what are linked, which is suspected scandals of sports and personalities. So this is what we have in terms of our question 4. So we're going to start on the first point, which is certainly briefly states 4 roles of the media on promoting sports in South Africa. So in terms of roles of the media in promoting sports in South Africa, we are having the first part, which is educating the public about different sports or history or rules or strategies or the importance of physical activity, attracting sponsors or funding of sports teams or events, or enhancing financial support for the development of sports. Or the next one is increasing visibility, reaching wider audiences or spectators. So basically, these are some of the points that we can include that are correct. And we've got a continuation of those points that are correct. But on the next part, saying discuss in detail also personalities that could potentially influence young people to consider a career in sports. So we have points on that, which reads personalities could serve as a role models for sharing their own unique stories. Also, second point, increase awareness about various sports or careers for all genders. Then we've got third point, act as mentors through coaching clinics. Next point, aspire to achieve fellow success. We have further points that are also correct that we can also include on that. Then we move on to the next part, which is examine two ways in which the media could report more responsibly on alleged or suspected scandals of sports personalities. Whereby we are saying the media should conduct a fact-checking or verification of suspected or alleged incidences about sports personalities to validate the authenticity or prevent the spread of false information. So next point is to uphold the principle that individuals are innocent until proven guilty. And next point include perspectives from all sides, involved in the scandal. So basically, these are some of the points that you can include according to the question that we have. We have got further points that you can also include that are also correct. So moving on, you'd see that this is the last part that we have according to our question 4. And of course, we move on to the next question that we have, which is our question 5. Question 5 reads, read the extract below and answer the question that follows. So I give an extract of social and environmental responsibility, that is participation in community service. So you need to go through the extract that is given. Then beneath that, in terms of the requirements of the question, write paragraphs on social and environmental responsibility. Use the following as a guideline. So first point, you have to briefly state 4 ways in which young people could promote safe and healthy living environments with 4 marks. In the second part, discuss in detail how participation in community service could help the youth to improve their employability skills with 8 marks. Then on the next part, examine 2 ways in which empowered young people could motivate other youth to address social issues within society. 8 marks with a total of 20 marks. So on the first part, of course, in terms of briefly stating 4 ways in which young people could promote safe and healthy living environments, young people could educate their peers through workshops or social media campaigns or informal discussions. And then on the second point, advocate for better policies or practice or reduce their carbon footprint within their schools or communities. Then on the next part, create or participate in safe spaces where peers can openly discuss issues. Actively participate in community service projects. Use social media platforms to share information or raise awareness. Join or form learner committees or clubs. So we have a continuation of correct responses that you can also include. So in terms of the next part, remember you have to discuss in detail how participation in community service would help the youth to improve their employability skills. So in terms of that, participation in community service could provide young people with opportunities to interact with people from diverse backgrounds, but also encourage the youth to take the initiative or responsibility of leadership roles. So these are some of the correct responses that you can give according to this part of the discussion. So we have other correct responses as we go down. So from there, we move on to the next part whereby we have to examine 2 ways in which empowered young people could motivate other youth to address social issues within society. So possible responses could include being peer educators to other young people, serving as role models or mentors by actively participating in community initiatives. So we have got a continuation of correct responses that we have. And, we go to the next part whereby we are now on the last part of our question 4. And of course, we still have the last question that we have, which is our question 6. Question 6, read the extract below and answer the question that follow. You are given an extract of lifestyle diseases, TB, that is a silent killer. So you need to go through the extract given. When you read that, in terms of the question part, it reads write paragraphs on the prevention and control of lifestyle diseases, such as TB. Use the following as a guideline. So on the first part, we have to briefly state 4 lifestyle factors that may increase the risk of a person contracting tuberculosis. Then on the second part, discuss in detail how early treatment of TB could help individuals who are infected to manage the disease more effectively. Then a third part, examine the possible impact of stigmatization or the effectiveness of treatment for TB in infected individuals. So these are the questions that we have in terms of our question 6 with a total of 20 marks. So going to the first part of our question, it reads, briefly state 4 lifestyle factors. So in terms of that, possible responses could include smoking or vaping, making it easier for TB bacteria to enter the body. And on the second part, excessive alcohol intake, reducing the body's ability to fight off TB bacteria. Drug use could weaken the immune system. So these are further points that are also correct that we can also include. Going on to the second part of our question, which is discuss in detail how early treatment of TB could help individuals who are infected to manage the disease more effectively. So the early treatment of TB could lead to shorter or less intensive treatment procedures, which are easier to complete. And then on the second part, prevent TB from progressing to a more severe state. So further points we have also that are also correct that we can also include. Then moving on to the next part, it reads, examine the possible impact of stigmatization on the effectiveness of treatment of TB. Treatment of TB infected individuals. So a possible response could include individuals who feel stigmatized may be less likely to adhere to their treatment regimen. Then we go to the second point, which is the stress or anxiety caused by stigma may lead to mental health problems such as depression or anxiety. Therefore, the continuation of other points that we can also include that are also correct. So we have also another point that we have, which is also correct, which can include, which is a stigmatization of individuals based on cultural practices, such as witchcraft. We can have witchcraft or a curse in their family or belief system, or myths or misinformation. So this is the last question that we have according to our question paper, and it has 20 marks with our section C having a total of 40 marks. So the question paper has a total of 100 marks. So thank you for listening, and hopefully the video was helpful. Let's meet again in the next video.